Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video. Different one today. We are going to be doing a full deep dive on the individual known as Justin Sears. I'm going to be sharing some of my personal experiences with him today, and I'm also going to be doing a highlight of his Valorant career as a whole, specifically focusing on the fact that there is no player in any region who has achieved more and accomplished more and won more in this game and has had no opportunities and no chances given or taken onto him by organizations. It is insane to think that this man right here, we've seen the edited version of it, is doing Valorant coaching right now, individual coaching, based on how successful his career was as a free agent when he was literally fighting off 8 to 12 to 16 orgs at one time. I actually didn't know Trick. I didn't play Fortnite or anything like that. I didn't know him in his Phoenix 1 era. But this was the beginning of him being able to showcase to everybody that he had it going on, in terms of he understood how he wanted to play the game and he executed it that way. He did the same exact thing that I did in terms of picking up people that I enjoyed playing with from ranked, making a team, and winning tournaments and, doing things like that. The thing that I respect the most about it is, in terms of free agency, Phoenix 1 was an organization, and I'll get to this point a little more with some details. In terms of free agency, Trick was under this headspace, this concept that he told everybody. No one leaves or takes any trials or gets signed. We go the distance together as a team. We get signed together, or we fail miserably and blow up. There's no and that second part wasn't vocalized. It was just getting signed together and winning. That was the thing that was sold. I feel like he was never properly supported in any of these timelines when he was working by himself, and I'm not trying to say that as like a coping thing. That's something you need to expect in free agency. Usually you're not going to have a coach. If you do, they're going to be more detrimental to the team than they are helpful. But it really is a crazy, crazy thing that this guy has just an unreal amount of green check marks in terms of a checklist of what you're looking for in an individual. And he had no opportunities in his entire career, trial-wise, other than Team Heretics with Niels, because Niels was coaching Dark Zero and North America. And I think you can ask him this. Maybe it's not true to this day, but I think Niels thought that Trick was like the best IGL available in the region. And again, it starts with patterns like this, picking up players from ranked. Who are these players? 2 franchise players, challengers player. Man has competed for a while, went to collegiate. Starts with Phoenix 1, the career of Mr. Trick. After a few losses to orgs, still doing well. There ended up being some changes on Phoenix 1. Some different people came in, people like Zekin. But this is kind of like where it started. And the guy didn't know him in this time. I started to know him a little more around here, this Akella era. So Akella was kind of like a random, kind of like a Fortnite style of org. I believe that like Tetra, if you guys remember this name, a Fortnite player, he was like the main connect with this. I was in conversations with like Coach Joe and Trick and Birdie about joining this team back in like 2021. There were talks of like Derek and other stuff like that, but it never came to like fruition. But this is when I began to know him, spent some time with him, talk with him, work with him, and to be honest, it was just a really good thing where we definitely like fed off of each other and we got along. And I just respect the amount of time and effort and passion that this guy has put into the game. And today being his 25th birthday, part of the inspiration of this video is like I need to showcase this because it's crazy to me that this isn't even like talked about. Trick was like silently, like, he was like shadow banned from like the game. I'm telling you, the amount of accomplishments and wins this guy has compared to other free agents in the game, he is more accomplished than any of them in terms of getting 0 opportunities other than 1 on Dark Zero for a couple of months. So let's get to the famous Bait Academy era. Started off with Verdi, Menace, Giza, and Jangler. Again, same situation. Picking up people from rank that he liked playing with. It was that simple for him. Same exact execution that I had. Picking up people picking up people from ranked that I enjoyed playing with and that I thought were good. Working with them, practicing, trying to get better. This is what the game was all about. So he starts playing with this Bait Academy roster initially. And over time, month after month after month, getting some good placements, not great, but good. They end up falling to T1 in one of the original Stage 3, one of the original Challengers qualifiers. They fall to T1, and this is when they're going to move on from Verdi. After this, still trialing, working with more and more and more people, he's going to get his team into another qualifier after the Nerd Street Winter Championship, all that good stuff. And this is when he was working with Caters for the majority of this time. Caters didn't end up working out, and this is when Big Zexro came onto the scene. Okay, Zexro showed up. He was grinding. He was committed. Late 2021, Trick wanted to work with him, and he ends up doing so. So again, Bait Academy formed. We'll go back and we'll look at the exact date. Okay, in the summer of 2021, and we need to remember that all the way into the next year almost, okay? Now we're talking like 6-7 months. This roster still exists, headed by Trick. They're in the qualifiers. They go up against that Gen G team again, someone he's played against multiple times now. They end up falling. Sean 12590, 76 frag game, plus 30. In lowers, who do they beat immediately? Evil Geniuses 2-0, 2 close games. Big Zexro, Big Giza, Big Trick. Taking down 2 world champions and their assistant coach at the time. End up beating Radiance. Another org fallen to Bait Academy. Not even close. Okay, this one was a little close. Not even close. Zexer with 40, Trick with 40, Menace with 40. They're just handing it out. Who wants next? And then the fuse that was lit under Bait Academy. The bomb. And it had the Anbox logo on it. I need to take a second to thank every single person, players, staff, management, who invested and set up Anbox Valorant. Not only did you burn hundreds of thousands of dollars, but at the same time you produced some of the best things that could ever happen in this game. You let go of cjaiye to join the Envy team, turned into Optic, they did what they did. You helped so many free agent teams who beat you over and over again. You helped us all get signed and play this game. And I just appreciate it so much. And this qualifier was post T-Dog. So there was a point in time where Bait Academy actually had me over Trick. And I ended up taking a individual offer along with Giza. So Giza went to trial for Cloud9 Academy, which ended up dissolving, and I went to play for an organization called Metro Esports. Cloud9 Academy dissolved their program. I was gone. Trick came back in. He returned to the village, and he took them all to the same position again, beating orgs in the Challengers qualifier. Go up against a crew who was peaking at the time with Calm. They end up losing 2-1. Not a great series individually from some of the guys, but it's how it goes. What happens as soon As soon as it ends, what happens 2 days later? Boom, back in another tournament. Back in another tournament, getting the reps. Here we are. Still coaching them here. Sitting in the coach slot, waiting for my my team to come to fruition to start playing with them. February 2022 now. Challengers qualifier. Playing in our boxers. Org after org after org playing up against. Uncharacteristic loss here from the guys. A breeze fracture loss from Bait Academy. Not something you see often. Not something you see often. Into lowers. What's happening in lowers? Those cracks are happening. Those can cracks. Red Bull after Red Bull after Red Bull after Red Bull. Those are the 14 Red Bulls a day trick. Slamming him 2,000 milligrams. Probably shivering in his bed, throwing up with cold sweats. Getting on the next day doing the same goddamn thing. He takes down Basilisk. This team disbands. The org leaves the game. Takes down Soar. This team eventually will disband and go their separate ways. 2 franchise players on it. 2-0. And who is waiting for us again? That beautiful fucking logo. This map was one of the most insane things that I have ever seen in my entire life, with the things that were being pulled off by the individuals on Bait Academy. It was insane. Look at the comp that's being run, by the way, on Fracture. Viper only, Breach only, double Sentinel Jet. Can you imagine what it was like for all 5 of those people on Andbox to lose that game and put their head in their hands and say, holy fuck. We just lost to 3 guys who are shotgun only. If Jangler's alive in a clutch, we lost. And Giza kills 3 people every time we peek him. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4 Challengers players on that team. Go up against Luminosity. Haven, first map. Not a good start. But Trick's involved in the shit talk, and this is where I knew that this guy was at a point of no return and that this is all he ever wanted to do. I remember right around here, this first or second round win, Trick ends up opening all chat in the game and he's typing to LG saying, I know exactly what you guys are doing. You already lost. I know where you are. I know what your strats are. I know what your round opens look like. You already lost. 1, 2 rounds turn to 4, 4 to 7. They take a timeout at 10-11. And I remember Menace said that he thought that they were going to come into C. And he said that he was just going to play close again. And I said, Menace, you got to be careful playing close. You've done it a lot. I think this is a really good round for you to play logs. Timeout fades. They get in position. Barrier drops. Menace's read was right. They end up going C. And for whatever reason, for the first time ever, one of these pop here. Menace is stunned. They end up losing the hold. And he is so mad that they could have won this game in an insane comeback fashion. But I microed him to play this spot, and he died doing it. And he said that he knew that if he played this spot, he would have went crazy, would have fragged out, he would have fought them like whatever it was, and that I should have let him. And I should have let him. And I was a part of losing that first map. There wasn't really any fighting ensuing after that, but it just sucks knowing that, you know, you like burned a lot of energy on that comeback. And then the classic Bait Academy Icebox fell short against a B-Dog Mata masterclass, just fragging out on the Jet and Reyna. Not much could be done there. And at that point in time, that was the end of Bait Academy. Now, going back to what Trick said about getting signed together and not going the individual route, I feel like his trust was a little bit broken. And I also feel like he felt his stock was very high and he wanted to explore that as an individual. He had beaten multiple signed rosters with high expectations in these tournaments, solidified himself as the best free agent team available. And there was a team, I believe in Fortnite, called Team Kungarna that offered us, and Zexor was our main connect to that. We had some good salaries. They offered us a team house in Texas and to go out there. And half the team was for it, half the team wasn't, and they ended up going their separate ways. Trick ends up getting a trial on a Dark Zero Esports. Zexro Drone, Screwface, a proto was the original approach. I believe he ends up making the team. I don't actually know what the full roster was. I think this was it right here. This is when they fully announced their roster. They were going with Zexro and Screwface Drone Trick. I would say that this was all he ever had from all this work. This was pre-VCT still, but this was all that he had ever had. No other orgs, no other regions. It was just him and Niels on Dark Zero working on solidifying a roster, and it's crazy to think that. And you might say that, like, okay, you know, he had a couple good runs and he did some good shit, but at the end of the day, like, is that really enough? In terms of opportunity, nowadays, yeah, it is really enough. People are really, like, not in this mental state anymore in terms of, like, scouting, where they will bring in a dozen players to see and test and try out. Everybody is interested in the concept of not leaving any rock unturned. They want to look for the Demon One. They want to look for the Oxy. They want to find them. They don't care what they're doing now. You know, they don't care if they're, you know, whatever they came up doing or playing. They just want somebody now who is insane individually and who could just take over games. But what an unreal run, grinding with Bait Academy, a free agent team for just almost a full year of time. Now we're talking. Like, I don't think you guys understand how insane that is in terms of, like, roster consistency. Dark Zero ends up again coming to fruition. Zexro ends up going with Trick. This is his right hand man. We're gonna get to the Zexro part, but this is his right hand man. So here they are on the qualifier. They have a early fall in the tournament here, uppers of round 32. They have an early fall to the Evil Geniuses. And looking at the agents here, definitely some inconsistencies you see. Zexro no longer on that duelist, on chamber only now. Ange on that, like, lurking role. Drone kind of going between, like, the smoke and the flex, depending on what map is being played. Trick flexing, Screwface dueling. Definitely not, like, the perfect thing. All the way through lowers, they end up going against Knights. They fall again. Again, looking at the spread, a little more solidified. Drone specifically on the initiator. Trick still rifling, flexing. Zexro on the sentinel now. Screwface still solo duelist. They can't really find, you know, their footing per se. The next one comes around about a week later. Looking a little better here. Zexro's incorporated into the duel. Drone on the flex. Trick has now picked up a little bit of that Viper role. And Screwface has also tried the chamber with the opping. They're going to go up and lose to Knights again. And then they're going to get kicked out by Sentinels. And I think this was the point in time where the change ended up happening. Or getting close to it. Because I know there's going to be some point where they move past this exact roster that they're running with. They end up winning a tournament. Still with Screwface here. And they end up going a little longer through all these nerd streets. They end up losing to nearest airport. And it seemed like this was the end of the team. They slowly kind of, like, turned in to what ended up, like, happening to them. They had a couple, like, uncharacteristic, like, losses towards, like, the end there. Probably some internal stuff going on that I don't even know about. It's 2 free agent teams they ended up losing to. And then the free agency began with Dark Ratio. We see a return of Giza, who went with that Cloud9 team, that Academy team. We see Oxy rise from the ashes. Where was this kid found from? Ranked by Trick. Another person just found and just risen up to be a champion. Grand Finals, the team was in peak form. This was a new height. So Dark Ratio starts off with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 game win streak. And they lose a game in a tournament to the ex-Accrue team with a couple bad performances and a 2-1 loss. 16 game win streak. In that win streak, they beat 1, 2, I guess 2 orgs technically, but a couple like notable free agent teams here. The Ganakis, they beat City Boys, Lenny Time, Teal Seam, and they end up turning it up again here after that loss. They end up beat Sonics. They come back in this tournament and beat them in the grand final, even though City Boys had a map advantage. So this map advantage is City Boys' thing. 13-3 them on Ascent, 10-13 them on Haven, get it back, and they keep playing forward. Again, beating Sonics, beating Auction Academy. Next loss comes to none other than Demon 1 in his prime. Now, we're not going to go into too much detail on this, but this team, SQN, was so insane. Lazy Lion, Zero, Cap, and Ty. These players were like, if you ever played Rust, there's a item called a locker. And the concept of the locker is that you can run up to it, open it, and you can click a button, and you put on an entire set of gear, a gun, meds, stuff like that. This is kind of like what they were. They were like walking banks. If Demon 1 or Clear didn't have any money, they gave them their gun. Yeah, I'll buy you. And they walked around with the Classic. Or Util, and that was it. So this team had a little insane run as well. But again, Dark Ratio taking names. Let's see how many tournament wins they have so far under this roster. They have 1. They have 2 back-to-back. They lost in the Grand Finals there. So they have 2 wins and 1 Grand Finals loss. Next tournament, let's see how far they go. They have another Grand Finals loss to Shopify. This was a agent ban tournament, I believe. Yep, definitely an agent ban tournament. 2 brims on Haven. But again, another free agent team taking down organizations, taking down top free agent teams. And the time finally comes where, again, Dark Zero wasn't selected for franchising. And they did not want to field a team for the Challengers League. So they let them go free agent. Trick still leading the charge with the players who wanted to be there. Some others left. He rebuilt the team. Okay. Dark Ratio going all the way, still beating signed rosters again. This is a 2-0 win into a loss in Grand Finals. And then the timeline of the qualifiers begin. So they go all the way up to the top 32 round of 16. So this is the elimination portion. This is the one that actually counts. This is in the group stage. They're in a position where they play the Nation. End up just having like a really bad performance overall. Mind you, Oxy is gone to G2 at this time, so they end up picking up Will and working with him. They battle through a couple games. He actually ends up beating me in this as well on a free agent team that I played with, 99 strength. They get that revenge match on the Nation, and they put themselves in a position where when they won this game, they qualified. They had a demonic lower bracket run when they ended up having that upset loss to the Nation in 16. They lost at uppers. They won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row to qualify for Challengers. Again, like, this timeline isn't going to be seen again. The stuff that this guy did as an IGL with the people that he played with, he was literally blacklisted for the way that he viewed the game, the way that he played the game. People just wrote him off as he can't be good. It's not possible. There's no way. He does dumb shit. His team does dumb shit. They run around and do dumb shit. You know, these people who did dumb shit, you know, like, where are they right now? Where are they right now? Oxy has an insane season on G2 and Challengers, instantly goes franchising. Demon 1 didn't even play fucking Challengers, and he got on the 6-man, or the second team for EG, gets promoted, wins a championship. You know, where are these people who are doing dumb shit, running around, killing everybody? Where are they now, other than just, like, succeeding? How does that not directly correlate with him as well? That's, like, the thing that just, like, isn't really there. His teammates have usually gone on to do great things literally from 2021. We're now talking 2023 free agency. Year after year after year after year, the only opportunity this guy ever had was Dark Zero Esports with a broken team and a broken system, and he played under the organization literally for 5 months. And that was it. Every other time that he wasn't on this, he was on a free agent team that was winning or accomplishing things. Every time. Mad Lions. Trick's approach worked. They grinded together all the way up to here. They make it, and they get signed. Again, lost their superstar duelist, working with Will now. The downfall slowly begins in terms of Trick losing control. I don't know the exact details. Obviously, I'm in the same boat as you, where I've seen some back and forth on Twitter for the last couple of years. I've heard some stuff from streams, this, that, the other. At the end of the day, it seemed that Trick and the coach were not working well together. There were some lines drawn in the sand where players on the team picked sides, and they were kind of like pointing blame at one another. But again, look at this Challengers, by the way. TSM, DSG, M80, The Guard, OR Esports, Moist Moguls, FaZe Clan, G2, Guard, OR, finally a fucking freebie. They choke it against Turtle Troop. Disguised OR. It was stacked. Mad Lions obviously did terrible, and they unfortunately got relegated. But at the end of the day, when your team is dead, you know, a month into playing the season, it's over. It's fucked. And trust me when I say that. I'm not talking out of my ass. I've fucking been there. I know exactly what it feels like. I know exactly what it sounds like. I know exactly what it feels like to be on both ends of it. It is a horrible situation. At the end of the day, they did end up getting this win over G2. But it's crazy to think about what this specific roster could have done in Challengers if they did not lose Oxy, if he was not having like literal unreal performances, if Zexro didn't have that social media induced schizophrenia, mouse sensitivity, you know, problem in his head, if Drone didn't have to plant the bomb. I mean, holy shit. If Trick had control of the team and he could have ran it like he did the free agent ones, who knows what it could have been. They literally could have done what Envy's doing right now. And again, I'm going to reference it again. I don't care. Trick was the original rankers. Everybody wants to crown all the people on rankers. And again, no disrespect to them. Incredible team. Love all the guys over there. Everybody wants to crown. This is the original guy who was doing this shit. Yes, this isn't fucking rocket science, and I'm not an idiot. I know this has been happening since Counter-Strike. Okay, I worked with a head coach named Ocean who literally helped start this in NA. Finding young talent, developing them. But again, This guy had one opportunity on Dark Zero for 5 months with a broken team with fucked up role issues. And then his next team that he gets to play with has internal problems. Half of them end up leaving. And in the next split of playing, his roster is 1, 2, 3 retired players. Okay, one of them is in collegiate, so not retired. 2 retired players. As soon as the season ends, they're retired. And who does he get? Who does he get in replace for Oxy when Will left? Narrate. Who was Narrate at the time? Every single goddamn streamer, every single pro has flamed Narrate, has made fun of him, has argued with him, probably told him that he wasn't going to amount to shit, and he's an annoying ass fucking player. He's an annoying ranked grinder, streamer, op only crutch, whatever it is. Now what? Now you guys are asking for pictures with him. Where the fuck did he come from? Trick fucking Valorant. Trick fucking Fortnite, AIM, whatever you want to fucking call him. That guy, him. He is just a side character in his own story. He had 2 opportunities that were completely griefed and blown to pieces right in front of him. When Mad Lions ends, he ended up signing a lease for an apartment in a different state for better internet around this point in time, I believe. So he signed a year lease in February. Season ended in the fucking summer. What the fuck do you do when you're dropped instantly when the season ends? You gotta start making money. Put himself in a position where he was offering individual coaching, and that was definitely like taking off past a point that he could probably manage as an individual. He had to take a lot of time and a lot of step backs to do so, and he ended up kind of having like a for fun run with this Lucky 7 team here, where it was another free agent team that he kind of put together with some ranked players, but at the end of the day, he couldn't do it the way that he wanted. He didn't have the time that he used to have. And I'm honored to say that if he ever comes back, that whenever you click on Tricks VLR, one of the last things you see is me taking down the Lucky 7 team with the team that I qualified with. This guy's timeline is so insane in terms of the fact that he has never had a trial outside of Team Heretics because of Niels. This guy had 1 trial in the entire game. After everything we just went through. This is 2022. This is pre-challengers, pre-franchising. And here's kind of just like a list of things that were going on. Again, peak 20, peak 12. This used to mean something back when people played this game and took it serious. If we went to VLR right now, there's probably some shit stains on the rankings. Oh, God. Oh, my God. I mean, are we seeing this right now? Look at what the rankings are. Dude. We need to scrap this entire website. These ratings used to matter a lot, and they were actually taken very serious. But at the end of the day, constantly putting himself and his team in a position of success and doing well. Here's Niels. Big vouch, this guy's the future. And here's another post that he made regarding the Lucky 7 team we just talked about. He just posted saying he's looking to make a team for the off season. He set himself up to do it, said that he wanted to do it. And again, this image is insane. That image is literally insane. 4-1. Is that the 16 game win streak we just talked about? 20-1, 20-2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 28-2, 28-4, 30, 32, 34, 35-5, 36, 37, 38, 39, 39-6, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. Trick went 44-6 in 50 matches to qualify for challengers. And this guy had one trial. And almost every single person that he has played with has gone on, almost every single person that he found, okay, and I'm not taking full credit for him, but I'm giving him some, because I can tell you what it sucks to feel this way. I've gone through this plenty of times with players. Players he found and helped develop, that initial step, he gave them that boost to go up, have gone on to do insane things. And he's sitting here doing individual coaching. It's crazy to think about. It's crazy to think about. Obviously, I know that Trick isn't a perfect person. I'm sure he's had his run-ins with, some drama, maybe doing some things he shouldn't have done. Whatever it ends up being. Happens to all of us. Probably could have made some better decisions. Maybe he should have done something that he didn't. Who fucking knows. But at the end of the day, I respect him so much, and I appreciate the friendship that I have with him. Being able to just talk to him about anything, whatever it ends up being. Whether he reaches out, I reach out, whatever it is. It's insane to see someone who kind of had a parallel come up to me. He definitely achieved much more than I did, in those years. Just have to hit the brakes because everything falls out from underneath him. And it's actually one of the stories in NA that no one even talks or thinks about, how legendary this guy was. And again, it's this mentality blacklist thing where the thing that I always think about when I reference that, by the way, is that clip of FNS when someone asks him in a watch party, yo, what's the worst challengers team to scrim? Oh, Mad Lions. Oh, yeah, Mad Lions. They just push everything, their fucking brain, whatever he ends up saying. Who just won a tournament, by the way? Paper Rex. I don't even think those guys can wait 15 seconds before peeking something. If they had to, I don't think they could. But again, it's a pick and choose thing. Trick literally made the North American Paper Rex, and it got broken up because of individual offers. But obviously no one would give him any credit or talk about it in that regard, because it wasn't on a fucking stage. Yeah, bro. We see what happens when Tier 2 NA Valorant players step on a stage, right, Furia? It's crazy, bro. If you're friends with Trick, if you just learned about him from this video, if you've known him, what the fuck ever it is, go to his Twitter, go to his fucking Discord, do something, wish him a happy birthday. Trick, if you end up watching this, hope you had a great day, man. I appreciate you, I respect you, and I'm happy that you are doing great things with the individual coaching, and I hope you keep scaling it more and more and more and more. Your story is insane, man, and I thought today was a great time to be able to put this out. Again, very random, sporadic. Trick had no idea I was doing this, by the way. He's probably going to be so confused when I post this, but maybe he'll do a reaction on his stream and he can pause the video and provide even more insight that I didn't have for some of these parts. And I hope he does, and I hope he gives himself a little credit because he deserves it. But it is insane how overlooked and blacklisted and shadow banned some people can be, specifically in this region, and just be written off and never, get a chance because someone defines their terms that matters more than they do at the time. Yeah, you can't play with him, he sucks. Nah, he's crazy, I don't think he knows what he's doing. Wow. Regardless, hope you guys enjoyed the yap. If you guys have any stories you want to share about Trick, leave it in the comments below. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you guys take a second to check out the description, especially Neuro Optima. You guys can take a look at their supplements. You can also look at the bundle that I have on their website of things that I specifically use. You can use code TDOG for 10% off. Definitely worth your time. especially if you deal with anything like an attention span, working or gaming for a long amount of time, if you are physically active, if you are physically inactive, if you have sleep inconsistency, anything to do with your diet or how you feel throughout the day, mind fog, brain fog, whatever you want to call it. They have literally something for everything. And they're very passionate, and it's sourced right here in North America. Again, appreciate your time. I'll see you in the next one. T-Dog out of here. Deuces.